All right, let's start with a big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour, whereas the resentment against the controversial citizenship law continues to grow. The situation on the ground remains very tense due to the continuous protests and what is being described as police retaliation. The news coming in that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is meeting with the Council of Ministers over the situation that is currently unfolding across the length and breadth of the country. Meanwhile, protests have broken out again at Delhi's Jamia Millia Islamia University.
We want justice! We want justice! We want justice!
Now, this in fact is the 9th straight day of protest since the 12th of this month when this bill had been turned into a law. A total of 10 protesters have been killed during these protests, which show no signs whatsoever of slowing down. And 9 protesters were killed just in the state of Uttar Pradesh alone in the clashes that erupted across the state. Now, the Uttar Pradesh police in its defense claims that none of these deaths have taken place due to police firing. And about 50 policemen are also said to have been injured in these clashes. In Uttar Pradesh's Meerut, a police station was also set on fire. And to prevent the people from coming out to stage their protest, the state government, of course, had imposed Section 144 across the state of Uttar Pradesh. But despite that, thousands upon thousands of people turned out to protest on the streets of Uttar Pradesh to express their resentment against this controversial citizenship law, which many of the protesters have described as being unconstitutional, as going against very principles of the Constitution. The protesters have defied a statewide prohibitory orders to voice their opposition. The protesters also pelted stones, and the police claims that because the protesters pelted stones, they resorted to lathi charging them and also used tear gas shells to try and disperse the crowd. Meanwhile, internet services remain suspended in various districts of Uttar Pradesh. Internet has been suspended for 3 straight days in parts of Gujarat due to the protests. About 15 people are reported to have been arrested in connection with what unfolded at Daryaganj yesterday. Remember, there was a vehicle that was stationed outside of the Daryaganj police station that was set on fire, reportedly by certain miscreants. Soon after this, the police claimed that to try and control the situation, it resorted to using water cannons and also lathi charged the protesters to disperse the crowd to bring the situation under control. Over 50 people at that time had been detained. Some of those who were detained were also minors in the age group of 14 to 15, and all of them have been released since this morning. And also, in an unprecedented step, about 16 metro stations were shut in New Delhi yesterday at different parts of the day. A number of protesters gathered outside of the Delhi police headquarters yesterday night to demand the release of the people who had been detained in Daryaganj post the clashes. And the national capital also witnessed protests yesterday as Bhim Army Chief Chandrasekhar Azad led a massive protest at the Jama Masjid. Chandrasekhar Azad, who escaped from police custody, was again detained early this morning. And these protests are not limited to places in North India as well. Huge protest rallies being taken out in the southern states of Tamil Nadu and Kerala as well. It also needs to be pointed out that much of the violence that has taken place as a part of these protests has taken place predominantly in the states of Uttar Pradesh and in coastal Karnataka along the Dakshin Kannada belt. Now, in a major climb down from its earlier stated position where the government had said that come no matter what, they will go ahead with the implementation of the Citizenship Amendment Law, they have now said that they would welcome suggestions from the protesters on the controversial citizenship law. And this comes as people from across the country are continuing with their protests, putting the government under pressure over this controversial law. And Kerala's Finance Minister Thomas Isaac has announced that all operations related to the National Population Register will be halted immediately. Now, Kerala, remember, becomes the second state after West Bengal to halt the National Population Register proceedings.
The people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign justice, social, economic and political.
Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. Equality of status, opportunity,
And to promote among them all. Fraternity. Assuring of the individual.
and the unity
And integrity. Of the nation.